there's so many women who come into our industry who this is their second career. This is the thing that they would have done if it would have been acceptable or they felt like there was a clear pathway to earning a good livelihood. But so often we see women a little bit later in life transitioning into this pathway. So you did that. You started when your son was born, 2 days a week, and now, all right. How did you get from there to where you are now?
Well, it's going to sound a little crazy, but the vision came to me in the middle of the night. I woke up because I knew there was something more for me that I wanted to do more. My kids were getting older now. They didn't need me as much. And I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do. But in the middle of the night, I woke up and it was right there in my head. I have to open a school because my experience and all my friends' experience were very similar. Now, I went in New York. I know states are different, but I just felt that that whole process of school could be so much better.
Mhm.
It was fine, but I felt sometimes I felt like I'm just there clocking your hours, wasting your time just so you could apply and get your license. It was and I went years ago, so now it's evolved so much. There's so many new modalities but all we did was that basic facial, the same moves constantly. And it got to be really boring. It just, I just couldn't wait to stop doing that basic facial that they had us do. And they didn't really get into too many other things like business that much and then, sometimes and now owning a school, I can understand how this could happen, but sometimes I felt um, that there wasn't a lot of structure. Especially when you go to the hands-on part, that needs to be really structured, so students don't feel like they're wasting their time, because that's one thing I definitely don't want. Um, but yeah, and then also in New York, at least, the schools are not a pretty place. You go there each day and it's a little dreadful. Most of them have a very corporate feel. Like I never saw the owner of the school. I never saw even the admin, like they were on a different floor. You don't get to talk to them. So I just knew I wanted a closer environment with the students and a more beautiful place where students wanted to go each day. And
Mhm.
yeah, that was
And
my
feel like a spa.
yes, feel
And feel
like
like a spa.
yes.
Yeah. I went to school in Haiku, Maui. And
Oh,
so it was a totally different
admin.
experience. Yeah. Yeah. Totally different experience. But so now that and how long has the school been open?
3 years now.
3 years. Okay.
Yes.
So, in going through this process, like you have this vision of really incorporating some business skills, like when you started your school, what was it that you wanted to make different or be different apart from the like overall visual experience and the structure that you just kind of stated?
I wanted to have a big part is I know it's the instructors who like
Hmm.
it a lot. So I wanted it to be the best instructors who are a more structured environments and a more nurturing feel, like a better relationship with your instructor, with the admin.
Hmm. Yeah. So in New York, like when people are going through school right now, what are you seeing with the estheticians? Are they wanting to become entrepreneurs? Are they wanting to become employees? What are the challenges that they're facing? What are the things that they are asking about? And I feel like probably every class has something a bit different. Like I know in just going through just our spa manager certification class, it's like the what was going on in the world and at the time, it's always different. So what do you feel like is the overall vibe going on with the students right now?
I would say it's very similar for each class. At least half of the students want to eventually open up their own spa or work solo.
Are you guys teaching anything about the shifts in the way that we're doing business with the incorporation of AI and uh, different technologies. Do you guys teach with any specific booking softwares? Like, are you training on any of those types of things? Like, how prepared are these students to enter the market with the other than like knowing how to do a facial and like the technical skills?
So we train them, we use Mind Body. So the students are trained to use Mind Body, just a basic, training of that. But we have them, it's very important to me. They have to leave a note after every appointment with their name, with the products they used, everything. So they're trained to be diligent about that. AI, that's an interesting one because we need to add an extra, it's not in the curriculum because the book was written before, but we talk about it. How you can use it to, it's so easy to use. And a lot of the girls, the younger ones, they're using it already. So they know, but we need to create an extra little lesson plan about that because I think that's really important.
What do you think when you're looking at aesthetics education? You know, we've talked about some of these different things. What do you think needs to evolve and change to ensure that we're meeting the demands of the market, that we're setting up the next wave of students in this industry for success?
Definitely communication skills, that all that professionalism business. I think that's what a lot of the students or graduates may be lacking if they're not getting that. For instance, the woman who I just spoke with a few days ago is opening up her own place. She was a graduate of ours, and she said that she interviewed several people from another school, and she just couldn't believe the lack of professionalism. So I think it needs to be taught and talked about more. I mean, it touches in the chapters, but it's not elaborated on. So I think just by setting them up, obviously we're going to give them the knowledge of, and school is just the first step. They're going to obviously grow and learn and become more advanced and learn other things. But if we can set them up with the business side, knowing how to relate with people. We focus a lot on retail sales, teaching them about about selling, about upselling, about the products, knowing the ingredients. We have this like little friends and family event that we do where before the students start working on, because at the end they're working in our public spa for just with actual clients.
Mhm.
And so right before they do that, they have a little period where they get to invite their friends and family for complimentary facials. And it's eases them into working on the public, and it's like a fun event. And we just had one a couple weeks ago. There were 14 girls total. There were 72 total appointments, and they sold so much retail. It was amazing.
Oh, and
They,
that's such a confidence booster too. Such a
yes.
confidence booster and such an important piece of overall client journeys when we're teaching. It's not just the services that you're doing in the spa, but the home care as well. Super important.
Yes, and it's amazing. I've even seen young girls, and I give them so much credit because I don't think I could ever do that when I was that age, but really talking about the products, selling the products. We just had a class graduate last week, and one of the girls was just amazing at talking about the products, and the passion just came through. And she was only 22, so it's just impressive when we see that.
The schools, their job is to get somebody their license. And so when you're in the actual business and operating the business and dealing with all of the red tape that goes into schools and accreditation and all of dealing with regulations in your state, it's a lot of work. And so their primary focus is like, I just need to make sure that this cohort is able to pass and get their license. And I think, the point that I was trying to make in the beginning about your school is you're really focusing on additional pieces of, the professionalism, the financial education, the business education. And these are just like basic things. It's not like they're getting their MBA in business. It's like, here's how you do a resume. Here's how you interview. And I think that those little pieces make such an impression, because if they are going from high school straight into aesthetic school, um, where would they learn those things? And so it's, or if, say they were a stay-at-home mom and they didn't have a corporate background or any type of that type of background, and maybe they're phenomenal at what they do. They've got great hands, they're very empathetic, but they just don't have, they've never done a resume. They've never done, they don't have that skill set. So that little basic understanding and teaching, and we don't realize, especially the spa owners, that by the time they're ready to hire, they've been in business, they're doing a certain amount of revenue. There's so many things that they've learned that they don't even realize that they didn't know at the beginning, right? Like we were kind of adding these different skill sets through experience. So having those pieces kind of incorporated in your school, I think really helps to set up the estheticians for success in whatever it is in their career.
Exactly. And I don't know, I actually care about all the students, and I really, when they graduate, I like think about, I want them all to succeed. So I think that's also the difference with us is I feel guilty if someone, I just would feel guilty if someone came to our school and then couldn't get a job. Like we want to help them succeed and try to help them, figure out what's best for them. Because, every student may not do the same things. There's so many different modalities now, and, none of that can be included. I don't, even though I'd love to get that included in the licensing course, I don't know, the state will probably never do that, but we always tell our students when they ask, should I take this advanced class, to the instructor, and it depends. And well, everyone has their tools in their toolbox. And if they're interviewing someone and you have these extra certifications and the other person doesn't, that gives you the advantage. So it's great to learn. And we do include some, like we include microdermabrasions, we include superficial chemical peels, oxygen facial, all in our licensing course. So we do add some things, but yeah, they need to like be as well-rounded as they can in interviewing and business and professionalism, all of that. That's just going to give them a better chance.
Here's a way to get involved, like reach out to your schools that are in your area. They like, if Jackie is feeling this in New York, there's likely other schools that are feeling it as well. Go in your area and offer to give a 1 hour talk about what you look for when you're hiring in your spa, whether that's professionalism, whether, whatever those pieces are. But building those relationships with the schools in your area is going to be a great way to not only have talent, if you're building a relationship with the owner of the school, and they, as you were saying, Jackie, like your top students, you're referring them and trying to place them. That's such a win-win situation for both parties involved, for the school to have a great placement rate and have their providers actually finding work in the industry. And also for you as a spa to be able to um, get the top talent from these schools. So community relationships, super, super important. Build the relationship with your school in your area. There's value that both sides can provide. There's tremendous value that both sides can provide.